The former Valley mom convicted of killing her own 2 children in a doomsday plot is taking a big risk defending herself in her upcoming murder and conspiracy trial.
Lori Vallow was back in court today, and it seems she is struggling with the reality of acting as her own attorney. True crime correspondent Briana Whitney is here. What was Lori's demeanor in court today?
It's always interesting. You never know exactly what you're going to get, but she's clearly taken one tone here that we've seen so far. We've seen a snarky showing from Lori Vallow. Once again, that's how she's taking it in every hearing leading up to the trial. And that appears to be the tone she's going to take at trial once it begins. One problem she's facing now is she wants time for her team to review more evidence, but she also wants her trial to start in 2 weeks.
A sassy back and forth from the Doomsday Mom in court, and the trial hasn't even begun. Lori Vallow claiming her former attorneys won't give her important video evidence.
They will not help us. They will not send us anything. They will not email us anything. They will not answer anything that we ask them to.
It's a video prosecutors say they can't find anywhere. Lori Vallow shooting back.
So I should go directly to Gilbert Police Department to get it?
How did we get here? Well, Vallow and her doomsday prophet husband, Chad Daybell, both convicted in Idaho of killing Vallow's 2 kids, JJ and Tylee, claiming they were zombies, and murdering Chad's wife, Tammy Daybell. Now Vallow is facing charges in Arizona in the death of her 4th husband, Charles, who was shot to death in Chandler. She's also charged with conspiring to kill another family member. Just weeks from trial, and Vallow is now complaining about the reality of representing herself.
Where I am at the jail, the communication is very difficult for me to get a hold of my investigator, to get a hold of my paralegal. I'm 23 hours a day locked down. If I don't have Wi-Fi, I don't have a phone. If I don't have battery, I don't have a phone.
Prosecutors complaining about Vallow's demand to interview witnesses at the last minute.
It's not the state's responsibility for the defendant to do the defendant's work and find these people. I have an absolute right to do interviews just as the defendant does.
Vallow also asking for evidence for her investigator to review, including Charles Vallow's phone. The judge says the defense has had the phone data for more than a year.
You're the one pressing for your speedy trial, so you kind of have to make a decision on we're set for trial. You want to go to trial, or you want to have him do that work that you want? Because I don't think both are going to happen.
Ultimately, Lori chose to go to trial in 2 weeks. Lori Vallow also might testify herself in the trial, but since she's representing herself, her advisory counsel, that was the woman sitting next to her, will have to ask her questions. She writes ahead of time. The judge made it clear Lori Vallow cannot just take the stand and speak her own narrative. Opening statements are expected April 7th. Guys.
So many irregularities with this that you just keep like pulling the thread to uncover it. Will this jury get to know about the murders of her 2 children that happened before?
The answer is likely yes. So they went through this kind of Q&A early in the hearing this morning about whether Tylee and JJ's names would appear on the juror questionnaire. It was actually the prosecution that brought that up, saying, hey, this trial, this case has gotten so much media coverage that if you see those 2 names, those jurors might put that together very quickly. Yeah. But Lori had no problem with Tylee and JJ's names on the questionnaire. So it seems like that actually will go forward to try to weed out those who do know about it. But interestingly enough, if Lori takes the stand herself, the judge said she could request to have her convictions talked about in a different way. So they might say she has other convictions, but they won't necessarily know the nature of those convictions. She would have to put in a motion, though, for that to get that approved beforehand. So we'll see if she does. She didn't have an answer on that in court today. It sounded like that was something that they would address down the road.
She's already serving life in prison for those 2 deaths. Right. It almost seems like she sees this as a project, as something for her to do, not a boredom.
She definitely sees this as a challenge, and you can see that tone she's taken too. She said she's been studying case law. I really think she wants to come across like, hey, I know what I'm doing, and I'm gonna steer this ship the way that I want. Of course, a lot of people in the courtroom seem to kind of be seeing through that.
Yeah. Until the judge was like, we're done investigating. We're going to trial.
Yeah, figure it out. You choose one or the other and move forward. Right, exactly.
Thank you.
It'll be interesting.
Thanks. Yeah.